Hey guys, welcome to the Killing the Tea podcast. This is Gare,
And Kate.
and we are going to be discussing all things chills, thrills, and kills. Kate and I are going to be talking about our favorite books, TV shows, and movies that are in the thriller or crime fiction genre, as well as some reading habits and other items related to how we met on Bookstagram that will fit in with this podcast. So, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that you have fun and get totally terrified.
I know I have, what was it? Seeing Strangers? What's the one with strangers in it? I think that's the
Oh
other
my
one.
God. You will literally, that book is so fucking hot. You're gonna feel like you're in an oven. Like it's like scary sexy. Do you know what I mean?
Night. Oh, I know what you mean.
Like I think we've had this conversation before where like if you ask like any gay man who's ever used like Grinder or any like hookup app, how like there've definitely been a few times where you go to meet a stranger for
Uh-huh. Yep.
whatever, and you're like, this is a little sketchy. Something doesn't feel right about this. This guy's kind of acting strange, but like
Mhm.
you just follow your instincts. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, there are some times where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that guy didn't murder me. So it's like, that's how
I
I felt about
know.
like seeing strangers when I was reading it. Cause I was like,
Mhm.
the sex in this is so hot and so good, but there's this like dark cloud where I'm like, something,
You're just
something
scared.
crazy is coming. And it just like reminded me of like how everybody has like a horror story of like
Mm-hmm.
a grinder
Gone almost wrong.
escapade. Yeah, gone Gare.
Gone Gare.
Gone Gare.
Oh my goodness.
um,
We kind of matched today
I
unintentionally.
know. Okay, so I woke up this morning. Instead of choosing violence, I chose pink
Me
because I was
too.
like, I woke up and I was like, it's Tuesday. I'm gonna wear this pink sweatshirt that I got at
Hmm.
I bought this at a Gap outlet like 2 summers
Nice.
ago, and it's one of my favorite
Those are
sweatshirts in
the
the entire world.
best, the
So comfortable.
outlets. Oh.
There's a place, it's like hours and hours from me. It's
Hmm.
called Lake George, and they have like this outlet mall, but it's all like outdoors.
Mm.
It's so much fun. It's so much fun to shop there.
We have a couple like that.
Well, yeah,
Well,
you have a little bit more
there's one,
around
yeah,
you
it's far
for
away
call.
from us, but we do have like it is outdoors, is what it was making me think about. Like,
Yeah, it's fun.
yeah.
It's like
I
fun to
won't
like
sit in
shop
the car
outdoors.
though, but I probably should because there's even like a Nike. There's like a Nike next to a Gap and an Old Navy, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a Gap, an Old Navy, there's a J. Crew, but I used to be a huge J. Crew person, but then
Oh yeah.
I realized that a lot of their stuff is like the same thing that it was like 2 or 3 years ago. They just
Yeah.
change the color a little bit or something, make the stripes a little smaller. I don't know.
Yeah. Not your vibe, is what
Not
it
my
is.
vibe anymore. Um, I have an icebreaker for you.
Nice. I'm
I
ready.
thought of this because we always talk about how we could get so much more reading done if
Hmm.
there weren't TikTok, because you find
Yeah.
yourself sometimes like endlessly scrolling,
Yes.
which is what I was doing tonight because I just couldn't get into the book that I'm trying to read. And I was like,
Yeah.
do I want to start a new book a half hour before we record the podcast? No, I don't. So, what is the last song that you had stuck in your head forever because of TikTok?
Oh, because of TikTok. So
Or it
right
could be like a
now,
sound. You know how
yeah,
like
right
people do
now,
that? Yeah.
I do get both. Sometimes it is just the sound. But
Yeah.
do you know who Elise Myers is on TikTok? You don't
Yes.
have
Yes, I
to.
do.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
So she has a song, Chronically Cautious,
Okay.
something overly cautious, that like kind of blew up last week. And it's very catchy. And it's about it's about feeling the need to overachieve and like letting yourself just, be yourself.
Yep.
So of course it's in my feed, right?
Right. I was gonna say like your algorithm like hit that on the head.
I know. And then I saw a TikTok yesterday that was like, it was one of the TikToks. I get these every now and then where it says where it's like this sound isn't actually trending. There are like 5,000 videos of it. It's
Mhm.
just your algorithm. So it really is my algorithm. And I was like, cool. So I didn't know if you were gonna even know who she was, but
I
she's
know she is.
amazing.
Yeah,
She's
she's
so
funny.
inspirational and funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was
Are
the
we
last one
thinking?
that got what?
I want to make sure it's the same person.
She has really curly hair, like short, curly black hair.
And she's very dry sense of humor.
Yes, and talks
Okay,
about
yes,
mental
yes,
health a lot.
yes. I've only seen
Yeah.
her. Okay, so that's the problem with my algorithm. The
Hmm.
videos I've seen of her have been like the very sarcastic, like funny, dry sense of humor thing.
Yeah,
And I haven't seen anything she's done about like taking care of your mental health.
that's amazing. I love it. Yeah, she has
Because
really
why?
dry
Why would I
humor.
take care of my mental health?
Who has time for that?
Why take care of your mental health when you can just complain to everyone about it?
Yeah, or get on TikTok or
Or get
read.
on TikTok. Um, I mean, it's no lie to anybody that like I am a huge SZA fan,
Hmm.
and she has a song called Kill Bill,
Yes.
and it's one of my favorite songs in the entire world.
Yeah.
And there's like one part where she's like, I'm so mature, like because she got like a
Yes.
therapist about like
Hmm.
wanting to kill her ex and his new girlfriend. And
Yes.
people will stitch that sound and like do something, like say something like minor, like be like, I made my coffee
Mhm.
at home today instead of going to Starbucks and
Yes.
buying it. And it's like, I'm so mature. I'm so
Yes.
mature.
Yes, I
Like I'll
love
be like,
those. Those are the best. And
yeah.
that has been stuck in my head before too.
And I'm like cooking like dinner tonight, and like that's what made me think of it because I'm like cooking dinner and I'm like, I'm so mature. I'm so mature. And then I'm like, I just killed my ex.
Oh my gosh.
So like if
Yes,
anybody like ever
I
like
love that
bugged
one.
my phone or my house and I'm singing like
Mhm.
I just killed my ex, like his new girlfriend's next. I'm just like, no, it's just SZA. She can sing about anything, and I'm like, oh, it's relatable. I love her.
Well, I didn't really get into folklore and Evermore. Like, I just didn't really listen to them all the way. And so
Yeah.
I just recently discovered No Body, No Crime. And Tyler heard me listening to it for the first time and he was like, "Are you trying to tell me something?" And I was like, "No, it's just a song."
I want that song to be a movie.
I know. It was like Taylor wrote a thriller.
I want Taylor Swift to direct it,
Yeah.
and I want like Samantha Downing or Jamie Lynn Hendricks to write the script.
Mm,
I just
yes.
want like Victoria Pedretti in it,
Yep.
and then like
Of course.
the new girlfriend.
Yep.
I want like a trashy like Margot Robbie,
Yeah, that would be
like
really
teased
good.
hair, blue eyeshadow,
Yes.
Daisy Dukes being like at
Yes.
the Olive Garden with a
Hmm.
glass of $3 red wine causing a
Yes.
scene.
Yep.
That's all I want in
It's
life.
amazing. There are like so many little details, like Olive Garden in the song. And you're like, she wrote a book almost. You're like, I see all of these
Yeah,
things happening.
the new tires on the truck would be like so like
Yes.
I just picture like somebody outside in this like not even like
I
gravel
saw it in like a
driveway.
small town, like with like some house where
Yes.
there's like a bunch of trees around it.
Yeah, and like not even like a real driveway. I don't know how to say it.
Yes. Yes,
Not
that's what
paved. Not
yes,
paved,
I was
right?
about to say like gravel or dirt.
Gravel or dirt or like one of those driveways that like
Mhm.
just you keep pulling into the same place over and over again that your
Yeah.
tire marks make like kill the grass
Yes.
basically.
Yes.
And like somebody with like
Yes.
a flashlight or the flashlight on their phone being like, oh my God, these
Yes.
fucking tires are new.
That is exactly how I imagined it, and I'm kind of tripping out over it. But
And Taylor
she's a
Swift
great
like playing
storyteller.
Esty.
I know, that would be cool.
That would be such a cool cameo because like obviously like you can't spoil a
It
song,
would.
people, and if you haven't heard it, that's your own problem. But like
You
Esty does
better
not
go
make it
listen
very
to
well.
it.
So good. No body, no
Oh,
crime.
it's amazing. Like I love the way she flips the chorus every single time. Like it's so creative and clever.
Oh my God, I know. It's so good. And like the
So good.
Haim sisters could be like the
Yes.
waitresses at the Olive Garden.
Yes, they have to be. Oh my gosh. Or like one of them could be the police when it's like they think she did it.
They're all like the deputies.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh,
my God.
we need to send this to Taylor ASAP.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
like, get on it. Cause she is,
Or Taylor Swift could be the sheriff. That would be
ooh,
cool.
yeah.
And the Haim
That would
sisters
be
would be like
cool
her
too.
deputies. I'm just bummed they didn't make a music video because like they could
I
have just,
know. Like I figured that one of all of them would probably have one, but she didn't do tons during COVID.
yeah,
I
I
can't
mean, I
really.
guess that was a pretty smart idea. So she didn't
Yeah.
like,
I think
you
that's what I
know,
saw it was. I don't
I
know.
guess it would look kind of shitty if you canceled your tour because of COVID.
Right.
And I mean, she canceled it early on when she was like,
Mm-hmm.
I know that this isn't going to work. But like, I guess it
Yeah.
would have been kind of shitty if you cancel your tour and be like, I'm going to keep everybody safe during COVID and then like film like a
Yeah.
music video with like thousands of people.
Everybody in it, like a whole story.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
she can make it now, but
Yeah.
um, yeah. So
You had a cool idea for
yeah,
today.
because speaking of TikTok, this is how I
Mm-hmm.
came up with this idea. I was scrolling through TikTok the other day, and there's
Mm-hmm.
a gentleman on there. His name is Baker Reeves, and
Yeah, I think I follow him.
he does a lot of like thriller and horror recommendations, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, he always does like these are the most disturbing things I've ever read. These are the
Mm-hmm.
creepiest things I've ever read, you know, and it's like
Nice.
sometimes I find myself in a position where like a thriller is like good pacing wise, but I
Mm-hmm.
need something like Jar of Hearts that's going to like disturb me.
Yeah.
Or like Pretty Girls. That's like a book that he always
Yes.
recommends.
Yeah.
So he started recommending some of these like thrillers that were like borderline thriller horror, and I added a
Uh-huh.
lot of them to my wish list. But
Ooh.
because I watched so many of his videos in a row,
Uh-huh.
I kept getting book talk like all
Oh,
over.
yes.
And before I knew it, I was like adding all of these books that have like come out within the past like few years or so.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, these are recent books and I need to read them and I don't know why I haven't already.
That's so cool that that was kind of
Mhm.
the inspo for it.
So then I was like, what if we just, you know, talk about some books that maybe have come out recently that
Mm-hmm.
like whether they came out and you weren't aware of them or you weren't in the
Mm-hmm.
mood for them or they just like you were kind of overwhelmed with your TBR, like here's some things that, you know, have came out recently that we want to
Yeah.
dive into.
Yeah. I did have a couple that like it's not like they came out super recently, but I was like, it's okay.
I mean, anything within like to us recently as avid readers, you're probably
It's
thinking
so
like a few months. And to a
yes,
lot of people,
yes.
it could be within 5 years.
They're all within 5 years.
So, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yes. That
um,
was kind of what I landed on. I was like, I think we just mean like generally recently spoken about books. That's my
yeah.
big
I mean,
statement.
I saw like an interview where somebody was like talking about like recent thrillers and they were referencing Gone Girl.
Oh, okay.
So, you
Oh,
know, I mean, to like to us, like recent thrillers are like within the past year because we read so
yeah.
much, but to a lot of
Yeah.
people, it's like they may have been reading thrillers for 30 or 40 years. So Gone Girl's more recent for them, you know,
Oh,
because it
that's a
was
good
10
point.
years ago.
Good point. You're right.
So,
Of
yeah,
course.
I love hearing it.
So what was the first one that Baker
Uh,
Reads made you want to read?
Well, okay, so my first one I need to shout out.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
There's a little bit more of an explanation with this one. It wasn't
Okay.
necessarily, I think there's I think there's two that Baker Reed's recommended out of my five that I picked. But
Okay.
the reason I want to shout this one out first is
Hmm.
because I'm shallow. So I want to
Okay.
apologize to Kelly Garrett because she had a book come out called Like a Sister.
Okay.
I saw reviews on it. The plot sounds really good. I added it to my wish list. And then
Hmm.
after adding it to my wish list, I saw that the paperback cover was different than the hardback. And the
Uh-huh.
paperback cover I like love, love, love. So the only reason I haven't read it yet is because I love the paperback cover more and the paperback's not out yet.
Okay. And is the
So
paperback red or is it the other one?
It's not red. It's like,
Okay.
I think like purplish, and it has like a woman with sunglasses on the
Oh,
cover.
nice. This I love purple more than red, so.
So, but it sounds so good. And it says that it's perfect for fans of Jessica Knoll.
Well, there you go.
And Jessica Knoll is my homegirl. I love her.
Yeah, you do.
Jennifer Hilliard, Jessica Knoll, and Ashley Winstead are like
Yep.
my trifecta of women that I will always stick up for and rally. If
Yes.
there is ever a natural disaster, I am going across the country and collecting all three of them and putting them on my back to save them.
You will become super Gare.
I would be like, you know how they say that like when like something happens scary that like people don't recognize their own strength and like people have like lifted cars
Yes.
and stuff. That would be
Hmm.
me just running through the country in my pink Gap sweatshirt with like Jessica Knoll and
Yes.
Ashley Winstead and Jennifer Hillier on my back. That's
I
my
believe
those are
it.
my well, Jennifer Hillier is in Canada, but I'm close to Canada, so I'll stop and
Yeah.
scoop her up first.
She'd be easy to
I
help.
could talk to her all day about how just fucking gorgeous her hair is, so we
Oh
have
my
plenty to
gosh,
talk
I
about.
know. Like amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Like a Sister by Kelly Garrett is about a story in which no one bats an eye when a Black reality TV star is found dead in the Bronx, except for her estranged half sister, whose refusal to believe the official story leads her on a dangerous search for the truth. When the body of disgraced reality TV star Desiree Pierce is found on the playground in the Bronx in the morning after her 25th birthday party, the police and the media are quick to declare her death an overdose. It's a tragedy, certainly, but not a crime. Desiree's half sister, Lena Scott, knows that can't be the case. A grad student at Columbia, Lena has spent the past decade forgetting her own path. Oh, sorry, forging her own path far from a little rusty. I took a week off.
Forgetting it.
Yeah, forging her own path far from the spotlight. But some facts about Desiree just couldn't have changed since their childhood. And Desiree would never travel above 125th Street. So why is no one listening to her? Despite the bitter truth that the two haven't spoken in 2 years, torn apart by Desiree's partying and by their father Mel, a wealthy and influential hip hop mogul, Lena becomes determined to find justice for her sister, even if it means untangling her family's darkest secrets or ending up dead herself.
That sounds so good.
That sounds so fucking good.
I really like reality TV in thrillers. It's
You
so fun.
do?
Yeah,
You do?
I do.
I didn't know that.
Right? I'm kind of fond of the idea.
Yeah, I'd say. Um,
Yeah.
I do too. I do too. Because I'm always okay, I'm very happy that no one's been killed, but I'm
Mhm.
always really shocked when there's like real world, real housewives, whenever
Mhm.
there's one of those situations and people are
Mhm.
so unhinged to be
Yeah.
popular, to be famous,
Mhm.
to navigate some sort of idea that they want the public to have about them. I'm always surprised that somebody hasn't been really, really, really hurt.
I agree.
I'm
Especially the
also
ones that
surprised
have
Lisa
like
Rinna
men
isn't
in
in
them as
prison.
well. What? Sorry, we were just talking over each other.
I said I'm also really surprised Lisa Rinna isn't in prison.
Yeah,
I
I
could
have to
definitely see
agree
her
with
like
that.
slitting some throats.
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised Erica Jane isn't either.
I mean,
She's
okay,
go on.
Lisa Rinna is too self-absorbed and
Yeah.
cares too much about herself that I feel like she could not like control herself and would kill somebody, but I also don't find her to be smart enough to hide a
To like,
body.
yeah, get away with it.
Erica Jane would murder somebody, like take half a Xanax,
Yeah.
probably have a cigarette, and then be like,
Hmm.
okay, I'm gonna get away with this now.
Yeah.
She would be able to get away with murder.
She would just pause and then she'd be like, I can't even remember what her whole glam squad has some name. But she just called them up. She'd be like, guys, you need to come over.
I don't even think she would need to.
That's a good point.
I think she would literally be like the
You're
first
right.
person to
She
like
could just
steal
handle
like
it.
a saw from her neighbor and just start cutting up a body,
Yeah,
hiding it
you're
somewhere, and
right.
then like showing up for filming the next day.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you got that down. We need to do a whole episode of like our theories on like how a housewife would break bad.
I feel like we could do a whole episode of like the things, the do's and don'ts of reality TV and what we wouldn't be
Mhm.
surprised to see.
Yeah.
I want to
I-
read because we always like say kind of like with like Jen Shaw and stuff
Mhm.
um how like stupid some of these people are, because if you're doing something illegal, if you're doing something you're trying to hide from the government, just don't
Mhm.
go on reality TV. Like all of your secrets are going to
Exactly.
be exposed. If you're
Don't
cheating on your
attract
wife,
attention. Mhm.
don't go on reality TV because your
Like
mistress is going to be on page 6.
mhm. Like
I
quick.
want a book about like America's favorite reality star, like
Yes.
just somebody that like everybody loves, like a Chris Kardashian something
Yeah.
before the Kardashians were a little too overexposed, and have like somebody be like, oh my God, like this, like we love them. Like picture like Jimmy Fallon, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's loved him for years. Now, what happens when you wake up in the morning and you open the paper and they say that Jimmy Fallon is a serial killer
Yeah, that
and
would
has just
be
been murdering people for 10 years and getting
shocking.
away with it?
Yeah. Like
And
bury him under a studio.
it's not somebody like Lisa Rinna or like
Yeah.
people that like you just don't like. It's somebody
Yes.
like Jimmy Fallon.
That would be really weird.
Fucking nuts, right? That would be
Guess we need
so
to write
cool
that book.
together.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
I feel like if you and I wrote a book together, it would be like so
Mm.
wild and so much fun and everything. But can you
Mhm.
imagine how many people, when they were reviews, would be like, these characters were way too snarky?
Yeah. Like I
Like
didn't like
every character
any
is like bitchy, sarcastic, like blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. Like, I'm sorry, but people with dry senses of humor who are
I know.
sarcastic, they're not hanging out with Bambi.
No.
Close the book if you don't like it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm a sucker for dry humor. I got a book
100%.
or like an email about a book from NetGalley or whatever. But the subject line was like darkly funny, razor sharp. And I was like, you got me.
You know, when like they say things like that, I feel like they like use that for like so many different thrillers.
I know.
You know, so like to me, that would be like the You series by Carolyn Kepnes,
Hmm.
or Look What You Made Me Do by Elaine Murphy.
Yes, I agree.
Did
I
you
did
read the
start
book?
this one and it's really funny. What? It's
What is it?
called Natural Beauty by it's an Asian name, so I don't know how to pronounce it. By Ling Ling Huang.
I will check
Ling
it
Ling
out.
Huang. I like it so far. It reminds me of Kismet. So I still that might it's very satirical. So I love it. And she literally is I know. I'm
We've
such
talked
a
about one book and we both brought up Jar of Hearts and Kismet.
You're right. Oh my gosh.
Unhinged.
Yeah.
Unhinged.
Yeah. Satire and a thriller will just it does it for me.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to check it out then.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'm like not even very far in, but it's very funny in the commentary already. And like she works at a place like they call it Holistic is like this beauty bar that she's working at, and it's spelled like STIK, so like it like looks all cool. It has some fun vibes. So then I'll let you know how the plot actually
Yeah.
progresses. But I hope it's good.
Cool.
I think I'll like it. But yeah,
I hope
we've already
so.
talked about our faves. Why
Oh
not?
yeah.
Got
Plenty
it
of
out of the
more. Yeah.
way. Some of I have two on my list that I recently added because I got so obsessed with Ninth House and Hellbent.
Ooh,
So then
yeah.
I was also like just looking, that was a moment where I was like, oh my gosh, is there a whole other genre out there that I would really enjoy? So I was looking at lots of recommendations, and you and I have talked about this one, but I don't think either of us have read it. But one of the first ones that I saw that looked good was If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio.
Mm-hmm.
So Oliver Marks has just served 10 years in jail for a murder he may or may not have committed. On the day he's released, he's greeted by the man who put him in prison. Detective Colburn is retiring, but before he does, he wants to know what really happened a decade ago. As one of 7 young actors studying Shakespeare at an elite arts college, Oliver and his friends play the same roles on stage and off: hero, villain, tyrant, temptress, ingenue, extra. Oh, I thought it needed to say etc., but an extra is a theater term. Uh,
Yeah.
that threw me. But when the casting changes and the secondary characters usurp the stars, the plays spill dangerously over into life, and one of them is found dead. The rest face their greatest acting challenge yet, convincing the police and themselves that they are blameless. So I'm pretty sure this one was probably recommended because of the fun, dark academia vibes of
Mm-hmm.
Ninth House. And just like, I think it sounds like it's kind of a big cast too. So I think I'm going to try it out now at some
Yeah,
point.
I want to try it. The whole like the whole Shakespeare
Mhm.
obsessed
I
cast
know.
intimidates me a little bit because I'm like, are these all gonna be like pretentious people
I know.
that I can't
That's why
stand?
I hadn't read it yet, because I also
Yeah,
don't really care about Shakespeare.
same.
But
But I've also read a lot of reviews that said you don't have to give a shit about Shakespeare
yeah.
to enjoy the book.
So that's what I'm
So
hoping for.
I also love the plot device of having somebody who may or may not have committed a crime, or
Yes.
when you're like, oh my God, this guy murdered somebody 10 years ago, then you find out he was innocent.
Yes. I'm a
Fuck
big
me
fan of
up.
that one.
Fuck me up and hop on my
I
Kindle
actually
because
read
I'm
two
in
in a
it.
row like that because I read The Liar's Girl and then The Perfect Marriage. Well, time didn't pass in The Perfect Marriage, but you were wondering if he did it or not.
Yeah,
I love
The
the trope.
Liar's
What can
Girl.
I say?
I know, it's so good.
Yeah.
And it's also in my dreams I hold a knife.
Yes, it is.
Hmm.
And the girls are also nice here.
Oh
And If We Were
yeah.
Villains is Kindle Unlimited.
Oh.
That's good.
Hmm.
Add that to our Kindle list.
You know, it's really funny because I think I remember seeing it and being like, if I would have read that book, that's one of the Kindle Unlimited books I could have recommended if I would have read it by now.
I think
I
I
think
had
I've
that same thought.
I think I've bought it like 2 or 3 times, and like every time I clean out my shelves, I like give it away because I'm like, I haven't read this yet.
That's
So I'm
funny.
just gonna download it on my Kindle and just call
You
it a day.
should.
Well, it sounds good. I'm into
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I'm into it. I
What
don't
else are you into?
I don't have a segue.
I know.
Um, okay, this one has the longest synopsis. So I'm gonna go with my next one. This is one of Baker Reed's recommendations.
Nice.
Um, and I'm gonna go with this one. I believe this one is described as like thriller and horror-ish elements. And I'm just
Okay.
gonna say that for this one and the other one because somebody and I were talking today about how there were a couple of books who have been labeled as thrillers that were
Mhm.
not by paranormal or supernatural authors. So when they got to the paranormal or supernatural or horror element, they were like really disappointed because they thought it was like a
Mhm.
sellout. So
Yep.
I was gonna say like this one is described as having either horror or supernatural elements. So if you read it and
Okay.
there's something a little unrealistic in it, then that would be why. But it is called Such a Pretty Smile by Christy Demeester, Demeester. Um, it says there's something out there that's killing. Known as the cur or cure, he leaves no traces save for the torn bodies of girls on the verge of becoming women who are known as troublemakers, those who refuse to conform, to know their place, the girls who don't know when to shut up. In 2019, 13-year-old Lila Sawyer has secrets she can't share with anyone. Not the school psychologist she's seeing, not her father, who has a new wife and a new baby, and not her mother, the infamous Carolyn Sawyer, a unique artist whose eerie sculptures made from bent twigs and crimped leaves have made her a local celebrity. But soon Lila feels haunted from within, terrorized by a delicious evil that shows her how to find her voice until she's punished for using it. In 2004, Carolyn Sawyer hears dogs everywhere, snarling, barking, teeth snapping that no one else seems to notice. At first, she blames the phantom sounds on her insomnia and her acute stress in caring for her ailing father. But then the delusions begin to take shape, both in her waking hours and in the violent, visceral sculpture she creates while in a trance like state. Her fiance is convinced she needs help. Her new psychiatrist waves her problem away with pills, but Carolyn's past is a dark cellar filled with repressed memories and a lurking horror that the men around her can't understand. As past demons become a present threat, both Carolyn and Lila must chase the source of this unrelenting, oppressive power to its malignant core.
Wow. That sounds
That
messy.
sounds intense. It
Yeah.
sounds messy.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds gritty.
Yes.
It sounds terrifying.
Yes, it does sound terrifying.
It sounds to me like literally like feminism meets like Stephen King.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like that.
Like horror serial killer, like women who are like,
Mhm.
I will not be tamed, I will not shut up, I will not let men intimidate me.
Yes.
So
Those way.
I want to read it.
Yeah, that one sounds perfect for you.
I actually thought of you as well.
Yeah.
Because I when I was like reading the synopsis, I was like, I think out of like all of my picks for tonight's episode, that like this will be the one that like Kate might be like, I think I'm gonna read that too.
I added it to my Goodreads shelf, Goodreads TBR. So it's there.
Oh, yeah, it just sounds really good.
I agree.
And I like a
Well,
little
I have
disturbing.
one that is kind of about facing killers.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I actually saw May Cobb post about how much she loved it, and so I was like, well, I'm gonna add it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna add it
Uh
now too. Because
yeah, you might have read it. I don't know. I don't think we've talked about it, but No Home for Killers by E.A. Amar. Imar. Um,
sounds
it's a
so
long
familiar.
synopsis too. Yeah, it has
I'm
the
ready.
cover is really pretty. I feel like I saw it all over Instagram, and then I saw May post about it, and I was like, hmm. But it is about the chilling story of two conflicted sisters, their murdered brother, and the secrets a family hoped they'd never have to face. The murder of jazz musician and social activist Marcus Pena doesn't come as a surprise to his estranged sisters. Melinda and Emily Pena know their controversial brother had enemies. After all, even they hadn't spoken to Marcus since their mother's funeral 2 years ago. Who killed Marcus? Was it someone trying to keep his latest protest song from publication? Was it the powerful and secretive uncle of his ex girlfriend, Rebecca? Or was it one of the other women Marcus had callously abandoned? To unravel the truth, Melinda and Emily must first face their own demons. Melinda, a former social worker, suffers from PTSD, haunted by the people she failed to help and unable to maintain meaningful relationships. Emily also pushes people away, afraid she'll get hurt and afraid they'll find out she's three strikes, a masked vigilante who violently punishes abusive men. Marcus wasn't a good man, but he was family, and it's up to his sisters to uncover his lifetime of lies and the truth of his death. So, also kind of feminist sounding. She's out there beating up abusive men.
I want to read that right now.
Kindle Unlimited as well.
Really?
Yeah. They have a lot more lately because this one came out in February. It came out February 7th.
Okay, I want it.
Doesn't that sound so good?
I want it.
I was like, this has so many things going on. I bet it's a lot of people are saying it's like atmospheric and all of that.
Fuck yeah. I see a little
I
baby
know.
moving.
But
I see a little baby moving.
yeah,
Oh,
he's
my
just laid down on the
babes.
couch. He's gonna listen now.
It's like books, books, books. Wake me up when it's over.
More book stuff.
Yeah. Every fucking week, mom.
It's all you
um
talk about.
um yeah, no, that sounds so good. And I think you and May Cobb just
Hmm.
helped me with my little reading issue where the book I'm reading isn't just like hitting the spot like I want it to. So I might
Hmm.
go back to it at a later time and pick that up.
Nice.
So it's either going to be that or some divorced men club smut smut.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We'll
Maybe
just have to
both.
see how you're feeling. I was gonna say you could do both,
Could you
but we'll
imagine
see.
if I Marco Polo you in the morning and there's like a lit cigarette like hanging out of my hair and I look like a disaster? I'm like, I didn't sleep all night.
I just kept
I haven't gone
drinking.
to bed at all.
Oh my gosh, you're like, but it was the best night of my life.
Awesome.
Oh my
No, that
gosh, I
sounds
kind of
really
want
good.
that for you.
Shit. Yeah, I know, right? Well, I took an
Then you
hour
can
nap today on my lunch break
wait.
and like literally woke up and like didn't know what time it was, what like where I was going, what I was doing, where I was supposed to be. Like I just was like so disoriented. I was like, "Oh my God."
Yeah, I needed a nap. I did not. I did not fit it in.
I've been I know I'm like all over the place tonight, but we haven't recorded in 2 weeks and I just miss your little
Yeah.
face so much. Even though we talk
Oh,
about Marco Polo, but
I
whatever.
know. Like
Um,
it's like we haven't talked to each other.
yeah, I've just been going through this like little like issue where I'm fine in the morning and then
Hmm.
like I get that little lull in the
Hmm.
afternoon and then I'm fine in the early evening, but like around like 8 or 9 o'clock, like I could go to bed, but I
Yeah.
don't because I know if I do, I'm gonna wake up at like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
And then like 10 o'clock at night, I'm like bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. Like it's just ridiculous. Like I'm like
that's
this.
yeah, that's frustrating.
So, but that's just, I think I'm just like a night person.
Yeah,
But
you might
as I
be.
get older, I turn into a morning person because I like to get up in the morning and like do shit and get shit done, you know?
Yes.
So,
Feels really good.
yeah, it feels really good just to wake up and be home and get your shit done that you need to do.
That too.
No place like home.
No.
No place like home. Unless you're in a book
Unless you're in a book in your
called
home.
Just Like Home by Sarah Gailey,
Nice.
which is another one from Baker Reads.
Hmm.
This one I believe also has horror, supernatural,
Hmm.
paranormal elements, so don't be surprised if they pop up. Um, but it is about a woman named Vera who gets a message saying come home from her mother. In spite of their long estrangement, in spite of the memories, she's come back to the home of a serial killer, back to face the love she had for her father and the bodies he buried there. Coming home is hard enough for Vera, and to make things worse, she and her mother aren't alone. A parasitic artist has moved into the guest house out back and is slowly stripping Vera's childhood for spare parts. He insists he isn't the one leaving notes around the house in her father's handwriting, but who else could it be? There are no secrets yet undiscovered in the foundations of the notorious Crowder house. Vera must face them and find out for herself how deep the rot goes.
You said this one has been compared to Haunting of Hill House.
Haunting of Hill House and Sharp Objects
Oh my gosh.
and
No,
I'll
you
Be
were
Gone in
talking.
the Dark.
I haven't read that one.
It's the Michelle McNamara book. It's the true crime one about the Golden State Killer.
Oh, yep. Okay.
And the HBO turned it into a docu-series. You will fucking love the docu-series.
Oh,
If you don't
nice.
want to read the book, like you will love the docu-series.
I'm gonna add that.
Yeah, yeah, you will love that. So, but this
Yeah.
book sounds so good.
Yeah.
Like just to have this character who loves her father so much and he's a serial killer and then she comes home and like I don't care if there's a supernatural element. Like him leaving her notes and her like in her father's handwriting, whether it's her
Yeah. That's so creepy.
father or if there's a reasonable explanation for it, I don't give a
Hmm.
shit. I'm gonna binge the hell out of this.
Yeah.
And the cover's gorgeous and it's pink.
I love that cover.
You
When
know?
you started
Yeah.
talking when you started talking about it, I looked it up and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this sounds good. It looks pretty." Like it just
Yeah.
sounds so.
Yeah. It sounds really good.
We're both gonna get to it.
Hmm.
Actually, it's kind of the color of your sweatshirt tonight.
I need to make
The
sure
main
I don't
background.
ruin this sweatshirt until I get that book because it'll be a really cool bookstagram pick.
It would be.
Yeah.
Well, I have no segue because my last three don't relate to that at all. And this one definitely doesn't relate to it. But as everyone knows, I became a Taylor Jenkins Reid fan this year. So
Hmm.
Malibu Rising is also on my to read list. It's kind of a long one too. Um, Malibu, August 1983. It's the day of Nina Riva's annual end of summer party, and anticipation is at a fever pitch. Everyone wants to be around the famous Rivas. Nina, the talented surfer and supermodel, brothers Jay and Hud, won a championship surfer, the other a renowned photographer, and their adored baby sister, Kit. Together, the siblings are a source of fascination in Malibu and the world over, especially as the offspring of legendary singer Mick Riva. The only person not looking forward to the party of the year is Nina herself, who never wanted to be the center of attention and who has also just been very publicly abandoned by her pro tennis player husband. Oh, and maybe Hud, because it is long past time to confess something to the brother from whom he's been inseparable since birth. Jay, on the other hand, is counting the minutes until nightfall when the girl he can't stop thinking about promised she'll be here. And Kit has a couple secrets of her own, including a guest she invited without consulting anyone. By midnight, the party will be completely out of control. By morning, the Riva mansion will have gone up in flames. But before the first spark in the early hours before dawn, the alcohol will flow, the music will play, and the loves and secrets that shape this family's generations will all come bubbling to the surface.
Ooh.
It sounds so fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm frozen, aren't I? Oh boy. It's been so long since it happened.
The thing is, like, I'm I've read Malibu Rising. I really, really enjoyed it. I think you're gonna love it.
Nice.
Um,
It's okay, bud.
when you're reading the synopsis, I'm remembering things from the story, so I'm trying to be very
Yeah.
stoic with my face. And when you were reading it, I was like looking, and all of a sudden I'm like, I think she's frozen. But I don't
Stop.
want to tell you because I didn't want to like interrupt you while you were like reading the synopsis.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, it's gonna be a long one. And it didn't seem that long until I was like, okay, don't make a facial expression at this. Don't make a facial expression about this. Like, I know all these things about these like kids and
Right.
everything. And then I'm like, and don't tell her she's frozen yet. And then you're like, bubble to the surface. And I'm like, sounds so good. You're
And I'm
frozen.
just
And you're like, oh
still
fuck.
frozen.
Yes, you will really, really enjoy Malibu Rising.
I'm excited. I kind of space out my Taylor
I think
Jenkins Reid books between a few thrillers, but it's the next one I'm going to read.
I've heard really good things about her other books that came out prior to Evelyn Hugo as well. I wanted to tell you
Yeah.
that. One
Yeah.
True Loves, my friend Cindy says is really good.
And it is getting made into a movie. or TV
I
show.
think everything she's fucking written has at this
I
point.
think so. Yeah.
I think everything, yeah. I know they're doing Malibu Rising. I know they're doing Evelyn Hugo, and
Yep.
obviously Daisy Jones is coming out
Yep.
shortly.
Yeah.
So
We'll
yeah.
see what happens with Carrie Soto. I sobbed
Do you
at the
think
end
it?
of that.
Oh yeah.
So
I've only read
terrifying.
Malibu Rising and Evelyn Hugo.
Yeah. I can't remember
So
what made me decide to do Carrie Soto, but I was shocked by how captivated I was by a story about a tennis player.
yeah, I feel like some people are like, the tennis was too much. I couldn't get into the story. Or
Right.
they're like, I fucking loved it. I don't give a shit if there was too much
Yeah.
tennis in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It's definitely gonna come down to preference.
I just found a book. This I saw an interview with Gillian Flynn,
Mm.
and she recommended this book, and I haven't read it yet. How to Fall Out of Love
Ooh.
Madly. And she was like,
Whoa.
I don't ever recommend anything with love in the title, but like this book is so good. And so I was like, I wonder where I put that. And I just saw it when we were recording.
Whoa.
So
What
she
is
said it
it?
was really good.
Is it like
I
fiction
don't know.
romance? Okay.
I
Nice.
don't know. Gillian Flynn, my girl. And she's
Fascinating. I have to
yeah.
check it.
Um, well, this next one is one I actually don't know who I saw on Instagram or whatever that recommended this, but when I read the synopsis, I was like, motherfucker, how did this not come across like my feed until now? It is called Jackal by Aaron E. Adams.
Okay.
A young black girl goes missing in the woods outside her white Rust Belt town, but she's not the first and she may not be the last. It's watching. Liz is coming home reluctantly. As a Black woman, Liz doesn't exactly have fond memories of Johnstown, Pennsylvania, a predominantly white town. But her best friend is getting married, so she braces herself for a weekend of awkward and passive aggressive reunions. Liz has grown, though. She can handle whatever awaits her. But on the day of the wedding, somewhere between dancing and dessert, the bride's daughter, Carolyn, goes missing. This is the second book I've had. I don't know if it's Carolyn or Caroline, so whatever floats
I
your
think
boat, I
that's
guess.
Caroline.
Okay. And the only thing left behind is a piece of white fabric covered in blood. It's taking. As a frantic search begins with the police combing the trees for Caroline, Liz is the only one who notices a pattern: a summer night, a missing girl, a party in the woods. She's seen this before. Keisha Woodson, the only other black girl in school, walked into the woods with a mysterious man and was later found with her chest cavity ripped open and her heart missing.
Whoa.
Liz shudders at the thought that it could have been her, and now, with Caroline missing, it can't be a coincidence. As Liz starts to dig through the town's history, she uncovers a horrifying secret about the place she once called home. Children have been going missing in these woods for years, all of them black, all of them girls. It's your turn. With the evil in the forest creeping closer, Liz knows what she must do: find Caroline or be entirely consumed by the darkness.
I can't believe you hadn't. I can't believe neither of us.
I was going to say, I can't believe you haven't read this either.
Then that cover, the cover is so cool.
Gorgeous.
It's
I'm not
beautiful.
waiting. I'm not waiting. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
waiting for paperback with this book. Like, I'm
Yeah.
ordering it, I'm finding it. Maybe
And
I'll
it
get
is
it
so pretty.
in Canada, but like, I need this book as soon as humanly
It
possible.
sounds so good.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds incredible. It gives me a little, like, it gives me like Get Out vibes combined
Mhm.
with Sharp Objects.
Yeah. Yes. That
So
is
I
what
need
this
it.
gives off. I agree.
Yeah.
Every time we record, I'm like,
Fuck me, right?
exactly. I'm like, how am I
Yeah.
going to choose the next book I read?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It just sounds incredible.
Yeah. I'm really, I'm really interested in that one.
Me too.
I don't have a segue because this one is sci-fi. I kind of, with some of this, my approach too was like just thinking of the books that, like, because I'm a mood reader, I just have never been in the mood, but like I've added to my list because they've been recommended about other books. So
Hmm.
anyway, this is a sci-fi one that I think I would like, but I just never pick it to read it. Called Mickey 7 by Edward Ashton. Mickey 7 is an expendable, a disposable employee on a human expedition sent to colonize the ice world Niflheim. Whenever there's a mission that's too dangerous, even suicidal, the crew turns to Mickey. After one iteration dies, a new body is regenerated with most of his memories intact. After 6 deaths, Mickey 7 understands the term of his deal and why it was the only colonial position unfilled when he took it. On a fairly routine scouting mission, Mickey 7 goes missing and is presumed dead. By the time he returns to the colony base, surprisingly held back by native life, Mickey 7's fate has been sealed. There's a new clone, Mickey 8, reporting for expendable duties. The idea of duplicate expendables is universally loathed, and if caught, they will likely be thrown into the recycler for protein. Mickey 7 must keep his double a secret from the rest of the colony. Meanwhile, life on Niflheim is getting worse. The atmosphere is unsuitable for humans, food is in short supply, and terraforming is going poorly. The native species are growing curious about their new neighbors, and the curiosity has Commander Marshall very afraid. Ultimately, the survival of both life forms will come down to Mickey 7. That is, if he can just keep dying for good. I'm frozen again. I don't know how you keep it together. Oh boy. Who knows why I
I'm
decided to.
I don't know. I'm like a weirdo. When you talk, you probably notice this when you're editing. When you
Mhm.
talk and you're reading a synopsis, I'm usually like staring off into the middle of nowhere or like not like looking at you
Oh yeah.
because like that's how I like kind of like pay attention and like try to like
Oh yeah.
do everything, So like
Mhm.
that one you were like going, I was like, wow, that sounds intense. And then I like looked and you were like frozen. I was like,
Oh boy. All the people watching on YouTube are really gonna enjoy it.
it gives it's like they're here with us.
Yeah. But
That
that
sounds very
one,
interesting.
it was a lot like dark matter, which also kind of
Hmm.
deals with like multiple versions of yourself existing. So I've like had it on my list for a while since I saw it kind of compared to dark matter, but I've never read a book that takes place in space. So I think every time I'm like, am I gonna like it? But I kind of feel like I will now that I read it, the synopsis again.
That's how I feel about like Anne Rice and
Mm-hmm.
Stephen King. Is like I
Yeah.
really want to read some books by them, but I have
Mhm.
to be in that mood where I can kind of separate myself from
Yeah.
what I'm used to and needing that,
Yeah.
I guess I
Mm-hmm.
did read Interview with the Vampire and The Vampire Lestat. I did read those in high school.
Mm-hmm. I have not
So
read those, but I know they're
she has a witch
very popular.
trilogy that I'm
Oh yeah.
dying to read.
Nice. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
I think the first one's called The Witching Hour.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So, but that sounds very interesting. I would love to hear your
Yeah.
feedback and your experience about your first book in space.
I know I need to read it. I do,
Hmm.
now that I've talked about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe, I mean,
I'll bump it up.
sometimes when you talk about a book, it like kind of like fuels that passion to like finally dive into it.
Yes, I agree. That's definitely what this podcast has turned into.
Yeah. Right.
Like
I
all the
know.
books.
All the books. All the books. I remember a reading experience that I don't want to say I didn't think I was going to like it, but
Hmm.
I was like a little like I wonder how this is going to work for me
Yeah.
was the book Chasing the Boogeyman by Richard
Oh
Chismar,
yeah.
where it was
I
like
loved
kind
it.
of that meta, yeah, like kind of like what they did with the what Bret Easton Ellis did with the shards.
Hmm.
um so not only is there a sequel coming out to Chasing the Boogeyman. But there's another book by Richard Chismar that's my final pick for the
Oh
night.
my gosh, how perfect.
How perf. How perf. It has a new paperback cover, and that's how
Okay.
I found out about it because like he had posted about it on, I think I saw it on Twitter. I'm sure
Oh,
it's on
nice.
Instagram as well, but um and it's called The Girl on the Porch.
Okay.
So like the title already, I'm like, I need to know what's going on here.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna tell everyone. Um when the Tuckers' next door neighbor mentioned someone rang their doorbell late the previous night, Sarah and Kenny Tucker check their home security camera and discover something shocking. The doorbell ringer also visited their house, and it wasn't a teenager playing a prank, but instead a terrified young woman with shackle hanging from her right wrist. She anxiously pressed the doorbell again and again, glancing over her shoulder as if someone were coming for her before giving up and taking off into the dark. Almost overnight, she becomes known as the girl on the porch, and she's everywhere. There are updates on all the local networks, national coverage on CNN and Fox News for anyone who watches Fox News. And the video goes viral on social media. Before long, everyone has seen the harrowing security camera footage. Kenny and Sarah figure it's only a matter of time before someone recognizes the woman, but as the days pass and no one comes forward, odd things begin to transpire around the Tucker family. A man intensely watches them in a restaurant and then vanishes. Fresh footprints appear in the garden next to their house where no one should have been. A neighbor's pet is viciously killed and mutilated, and a mysterious man has started following their daughter, Natalie. So, okay, we've talked about how the whole like doorbell camera footage thing
Yes.
scares the shit out of me, which is why I don't have
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
So, like, when I saw this, I was like, okay, this is something that would literally be putting me into therapy. Like, because I'm just like, I'm like, okay, I know this girl's probably gonna need therapy when she's found with like shackles and like terrified or
Right.
whatever, like running around in the dark. But like, I'm gonna need therapy by seeing her on my fucking camera.
I think
So
so.
between that and this like viral thing about
Hmm.
what these people are seeing and like how media plays into it is another interesting thing to me. I'm not
Hmm.
excited for the animal violence, but props to them for putting it in the synopsis so
I
people
agree.
know.
I thought the same thing.
I also love when you're dealing with parents
Hmm.
who are trying to do the most to protect their children.
I know. I do
So
too.
when a man starts following their daughter, I'm like, this is the book for me. Like,
I
this
think so.
screams. I think I'm going to order the Jackal and this
Yeah,
book tonight. I think I'm just going to order them on Amazon.
I think you should. I want to. I want to read everything you talked about.
We can
I can
together.
in time.
We can together.
We can do it.
I'm just like picturing like you and I going to like Iceland for a week to like binge
Oh,
read these
that
five
sounds so
books
good.
and stay cold and eat like Icelandic pizza.
Yes, and chocolate. I feel like maybe they have good chocolate. Maybe like
Ooh,
Swiss chocolate is like there. I don't know.
yeah. No, I know what you mean. There's some chocolate
I
that like
like this
even when
idea
it's like
though.
described as like milk chocolate, it just tastes
Hmm.
like better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now I want chocolate and cold temperatures. It's starting to get humid here.
Oh,
So
we have a
prepare
snowstorm coming Friday.
my hair to not look this good here soon when I get sweaty.
That's not true. You're gonna have your air conditioner.
Yeah, I know.
Your
It's
hair
still
looked good all summer, except for when you
I
went outside and had your Larry bangs.
yeah, yeah.
Mm,
Yes.
where?
That's what I look like kind of often. I almost sent you a picture today because I like worked out and I just looked like a samurai basically. And I was like, I am gonna completely transform in like 2 hours.
I actually am beginning to think that there is some sort of intuition,
Mhm.
premonition, some sort of unexplained, unsolved mystery between both of our brains because
Yeah,
not only did we eat the most fucking random thing for dinner at the same time the other night and
we
not know about
did.
it,
Yeah.
but when I was making my dinner tonight, I went to
Mhm.
text message you.
Mhm.
And when I picked up my phone, before I could even unlock it, I got the notification that you were Marco Poloing me.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That is
Like
trippy
all
because
day
I
I was
wasn't even like responding. I was telling you something random.
right. You were just like starting a new conversation
Whoa.
because all day today I was like, I'm so excited to like record with Kate. I'm super
Mhm.
pumped for tonight. Like I have my picks. And then
Yep.
like, but like I didn't have to text you or Marco Polo you that
Uh-huh.
because I didn't have anything else to add to the conversation. Like I didn't have anything
Right.
update for you. You know what I mean? Like
I
to be like,
didn't
oh,
either.
like this
Yeah.
is like a good book, or like, oh, like I watched something really good on TV. Like, no, I'm
Right.
binging Law and Order and I'm gonna start
Oh,
watching all of the
nice.
Scream movies from the beginning because the new one comes out next Friday.
Oh, that is a good idea.
Yeah.
Are you
So
gonna go see it in
yeah,
theaters?
I took the day off from
Good.
work.
Good. That's awesome.
I'm making my dad go. My dad is like not excited. My mom
Uh-huh.
has seen three of them with me because I've seen all the Scream movies in the theater.
Okay.
And
Nice.
but like my mom's going on a cruise, so like it's just me and my dad, and I'm like, we're going to Canada, so we're going to Canada to go see it. And
That's
the only way I
awesome.
could convince him was a Canadian Whopper because he's my father's convinced that the Whoppers at Burger King in Canada are better than the ones in the US.
They might be. They might have different food regulations.
Yeah, they probably
Might be
do, but
right. Yeah,
so yeah,
that sounds super fun.
yep, that is so yeah, you're psychic and intuitive.
Yeah, we both
Mhm.
are. That's probably why it happens so often.
I know the fucking quesadilla thing
That was,
that
yeah.
scared me. Like I
I
wasn't
had
just like, oh
just
my God,
gotten
like you Marco Poloing me or texting me when I'm about to text you is like not out of the
right,
norm
right.
because we talk very often.
Yeah.
But when I
But
like was like, I ate a cheese quesadilla with black beans and corn. And the only reason I had that is because I had leftovers from making burritos and I had leftover corn and black beans. And I was like, I'm just gonna make a
yes.
quesadilla. My tortillas won't go bad, whatever.
Yep.
But I was like eating it and I was like, this was the best thing in the entire world. Like it hit the spot. It was so good. And I texted you and said that I had that for dinner. And you were like, I had it for dinner too.
Yeah. So trippy. I used to eat it in college a lot. And I just like refixated on it like the day before you texted me. So I had it like 2 days in a row and you texted me and I was like, what is going on?
No, because I've had like veggie quesadillas, veggie burritos.
Yeah.
I've never gone anywhere and had just black beans and corn.
No, I don't think you're right. I haven't gone anywhere and just had that combo.
But I've had it before in a quesadilla and like been like, oh my God, that's so good.
It's a really good combination.
Yeah, with like a shitload of hot sauce.
Yes. There's like a you have like a street taco sauce that's really good. I can't
I'm
remember
a
what brand.
Cholula guy.
Yeah, we have that too. But we found something recently that was like, I don't know. I'll have to look.
Yeah.
Everyone out there though, if you want cheap, easy to make comfort food
With extra protein.
with extra protein, and you get good fiber with the beans.
Yeah. Well, beans are good or protein too.
They're both, yeah.
Yeah. So we're just literally helping
We're
your
so
health.
healthy.
Hmm.
This is now a health podcast.
Eat your
Just
bean
kidding.
quesadilla and then scare the shit out of yourself with these awesome
Yes.
books.
Yes. Yeah, so I have one last book that
Yes.
would maybe scare the shit out of you after you eat our
Ooh.
signature quesadilla.
Yeah.
Um, and that is Infinite by Brian Freeman. One rainy night, I was like, am I frozen? I'm like
No,
paranoid.
I'm
What?
just excited. I heard
Yeah.
Brian Freeman and I'm excited because he
Yes.
always makes me think of like
that
the
we're spending
blossoming
time.
of our friendship.
I know, me too. And
I know.
I have a bunch of his that like I know that like when I'm in a Brian Freeman mood, like, oh, go read that. And this is one that I haven't read yet. Um, so one rainy night, the unthinkable happens. Dylan Moran's car plunges off the road into a raging river, his beautiful wife drowning as he struggles to shore. In the aftermath, through his grief, Dylan experiences sudden, strange visions. Wherever he goes, he's haunted by glimpses of himself. Dylan initially chalks it up to trauma, but that changes when he runs into a psychiatrist who claims he's her patient. She says he has been undergoing a unique hypnotherapy treatment built on the idea that with every choice, he creates an infinite number of parallel universes. Now those parallel universes are unlocked, and Dylan's doppelganger has staked a claim to his world. This is like Mickey 7 too.
Yeah.
Can Dylan I'm like, wait, there's a theme. Can Dylan use these alternate realities to get a second chance at the life that was stolen from him, or will he lose himself to himself? Dun dun dun.
Dun dun
I have a thing for
dun.
multiple realities.
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
I
That
do
sounds
love
really
that.
cool.
I
There's
know.
have you
So
ever
you
read Dean Koontz?
some, but not because he has a lot, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I have not read
There's
it everything.
there's one. Okay, so everybody who's a Dean Koontz fan is gonna come for me for this, but I don't give a shit, okay?
Yeah, you don't
But
have to.
there's a movie that I watched. It was one of those movies that I like snuck behind my parents' back and watched it when I was little, and I
Yeah.
definitely should not have. It's called Hideaway with Jeff Goldblum in it and Alicia
Okay.
Silverstone. And it's like this guy who's like driving at night, Jeff Goldblum, and he goes off the road and they get into a car accident and he's taken to the hospital and he dies, but they revive him. So they're like, you were dead for like a minute or so.
Mm-hmm.
But since they revive him, he starts to notice he's like different and he starts having weird visions of a serial
Whoa.
killer.
Whoa.
And Alicia Silverstone is his daughter. And like
Okay.
at one point he starts to have, and this isn't a spoiler because it's in the trailer, but like at
Okay.
one
Yeah.
point he has like a vision like from the serial killer's point of view and sees his own daughter. And I've
Oh
always
my
wanted to read that
God.
book because I really like I liked the movie, but everybody who's a Dean Koontz fan was like, that movie fucking sucks. But I really liked it for how entertaining it was.
Yeah.
And so now I really want to read the book.
Now I want to read the book. I'm adding it.
I think we should read the book together because if
We
it's like
should.
science fictiony, you could be
Hmm.
like my science fiction like baby Yoda and
Translator.
just guide me where I need to go. Yeah, I'll be like, what
Yeah,
the
I'll be
fuck is an
Pedro
abyss?
Pascal in this situation.
Okay.
I'll
Oh.
take it.
Can I call you daddy?
You can if you want to. Oh my gosh. That's the other. What is the
Imagine you're
song
on
that
the phone, you're like, it's daddy, and Tyler's like, what the fuck are you
it's like,
talking
what is
about?
happening?
It's like, why are
Like,
you
I'm gone
why
for
is Gare
one
calling you
week.
daddy? Yeah. Okay. Go on one trip and now Gare's calling you
That's another
daddy.
TikTok sound that gets in my head though, is the song that everyone uses on all their Pedro Pascal edits. And I don't know what the
Which
song's called at the moment.
oh, there's a lot of them that I've downloaded because I like love
Yeah,
them.
he's amazing. Are you watching The Last of Us? I don't think you are.
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm
It's
in
heartbreaking.
a very so my mom is my TV partner. Like I love watching
Oh
movies and
yeah.
TV shows with her. She's going on
Uh-huh.
a cruise and she
Yeah.
leaves this Friday. So in like a few days she's going on a cruise.
Mhm.
And the only thing is I can't start anything new because I don't want to start something new and have her gone for 2 weeks
Oh yeah,
and
that's a
then
good
be
point.
like well, I'm stuck and I can't like keep going.
Yes.
So we've just been watching I caught up on the Real Housewives of Potomac
I
and
keep
I've been
wanting to ever
watching.
since you said that.
Have you watched this season yet?
No, I haven't
Like the
watched
season
much
out.
TV. No, I haven't watched any of it.
You've never watched any Potomac?
Oh no, 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 just this season.
Oh,
I haven't watched.
Oh, you're gonna like it. It's really good. It's infuriating, but it's good. The reunion's very good so far.
Oh, their reunions
Yeah.
are very good.
Yeah. Potomac's my favorite. It's my number one.
Yeah, I love them. I
So I watch
just,
Potomac, Law
yeah,
and Order SVU,
yes.
and then I top it off with an old episode of Roseanne, and then I go to bed.
That's what I thought. I was like, I think he's in a Roseanne phase
It just cracks me up.
for bedtime.
Yeah, I want to
We
laugh a little bit.
Abbott Elementary was a funny one
Okay.
for bedtime. It's really funny. It is way funnier than I expected. Like we were just kind of like, oh, nice, something like 30 minutes and just like
Right.
funny. And like sometimes we laugh pretty hard and then we're not asleep.
Well, I love this little TV corner because I've been meaning to tell you
Oh yeah.
while I'm like riding solo TV wise when my
Mhm.
mom's on her cruise, I'm going to
Yeah.
be, I think, diving into Insecure because of your recommendation.
I feel like you're really gonna enjoy it. I
I
love Issa Rae
also,
and J.R. Ellis.
I
Oh my gosh.
well, the whole cast is just gorgeous, and I
They
love her
all are.
friend. She
Yes.
has a friend. I don't know who the friend is, but she plays like the principal in Love, Simon.
Okay. Is it I think I know the character's
I saw
name,
her
but
in
I
a
don't know
TikTok where she was faking a British accent.
Okay. Um, is it Yvonne Orgy?
Ma'am, I don't know. Yvonne,
ORJI. It is a
no,
beautiful cast of people though.
it's
Oh,
not
I
her.
forgot about I feel like you would like Kendrick Sampson a lot.
I fucking love Kendrick Sampson, and I didn't know he was in that.
Yeah. I became
Okay.
an immediate fan when he was introduced. He's in 20 of the episodes.
I think it's Natasha Rothwell.
Oh, nice.
She
She's really
plays Kelly. Kelly.
fun. Okay,
She's
yeah, her
also a
character.
writer on the show.
I think a few of them do.
So that's what I'm going to dive into because of your
I'm so
recommendation.
excited.
Um, and then I also have a Kate corner because
Kate
there's a
Corner.
show that I started watching that I kind of feel like you would be into because it reminds me of us.
Oh,
It's like funny, quirky, and a little drama.
yeah.
But have you watched Sex Education
I haven't.
with
I hear
Gillian
about it more and
Anderson?
more on TikTok. No, I haven't seen it.
So the brief synopsis is this kid who's like kind of a wallflower, but his
Uh-huh.
mother, played by Gillian Anderson, is a sex therapist.
Yes.
And he finds himself in a position where he's giving like relationship and sex advice to two of like his fellow high school students, and they're like, oh
Yeah.
my god, you fixed us. So then he starts like kind of being like paid in cash like sex therapist to all of these high school students, and it is so funny, it is so witty, and I'm really really enjoying it, and I also feel like it's something that you would really really like.
Yes, I remember hearing that synopsis or like whatever, seeing a summary of it
Yeah.
and being and thinking, I was like, that isn't the cool thing is it's actually a very unique premise.
Yes.
It's not anything played out premise wise. And I was like, well, I need to
it's
add
kind
that.
of it's kind of one of those things where you were talking about how some shows are episodic and some have
Yes.
like an arc that goes across the season, and this is like a
Mhm.
very good combination of both.
Oh, that's cool.
So
Tyler
I
would
think you
probably
would be
like
really
it.
into it. Yeah. And also there's a lot of comedy. And also if you're a little pervert, there's a huge, huge, huge dick in like one of the first few episodes.
Oh my gosh.
Like there's this guy that they're like, he has the biggest dick in the entire world, and he
uh,
like is sick of people talking about him, so he jumps on a
uh-huh.
table in the cafeteria and like rips his pants down.
Damn. You know what I was not prepared for in you was a large dead dick that they had on screen. I was shocked. I was like, whoa, was not planning on that.
I was not planning on that either. Uh,
It's like,
I will
okay,
say no, I'm not saying anymore at this time. Refuse to comment.
I plead the
Plead the fifth.
fifth. Oh my goodness.
So, books, dicks, and TV recommendations. To
What
no
else
one's
do you want
surprise.
from us?
Yeah, that's all you're getting.